SignalR is a framework from Microsoft that I can install into my project using NuGet. The name of the package is microsoft.aspnet.signalr, and we'll be using the most current release in this module, which is SignalR 2.0. The goal of SignalR is to enable real-time communication between the browser and the application. And to do that, SignalR will try a number of different types of connections until it finds one that works. First, SignalR will try to use WebSockets, because WebSockets are the most efficient communication mechanism in terms of overhead, not just on the wire, but also for server memory consumption and CPU usage. But we know that not all browsers support WebSockets, so SignalR can also try to use server-sent events, which is an HTML5 API that allows for a server to push data to a client over an HTTP connection. It's not as efficient as WebSockets, but it might work in more locations than sockets do. If events don't work, SignalR can try a forever frame. This is a trick that's been around for years where some JavaScript on the client will create a hidden iframe in the browser and hold open that connection from the iframe. Perhaps it doesn't hold the connection forever, as the name implies, but it does hold it open, and that allows the server to keep sending additional pieces of data over time. And if all else fails, SignalR can turn to long polling, which is simply polling the web server for new information by sending additional requests. Now, which protocol will SignalR be able to use? That depends not only on the client browser, but also on the web server. The web server has to support WebSockets. Since this is a course on ASP.NET MVC, I'm assuming you're going to deploy to production using IIS, and only IIS 8 and above support WebSockets. IIS 8 on Windows Server 2012, and you have to enable the WebSocket features in IIS. It also works in IIS Express here in a development environment with Visual Studio. As far as browsers go, if you go to the SignalR page on the ASP.NET site, you'll find a test matrix listing exactly what protocols work on different browser types. The latest versions of IE, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, they all support WebSockets. For older versions of Internet Explorer, SignalR can fall back to using long polling, but only version 8 and above is officially supported and tested with a suite of unit and functional tests. How does it all work? Well, once you add the SignalR NuGet package, you'll have both server and client-side components to use. On the server side, you'll create one or more hubs, where hub is a class provided by SignalR to abstract away the underlying connections. On the client, you connect to a hub using a SignalR plugin for jQuery, so jQuery is required, and then the server can send messages to clients by invoking methods that are mapped to JavaScript methods on the client, and the client can send messages to the server by invoking methods in the client API that are mapped to methods on a hub back at the server. It all sounds like magic, so let's dig in and see this working.